Ladies and gentlemen, welcome here. This is absolutely freaking amazing. I need to first crack open my Dr. Pepper here because holy crap. We're coming off of night one of WrestleMania. And honestly, I couldn't be happier with how this event went, with how this show went. Yes, there were a few things that may have been a little bit of a downer for some, but I am joined alongside the natural Astrid Pizarro and good brother Ol Ed as we here with our local establishment bring you this paper review of WrestleMania Night 1. Let's start with you, Astrid. How are you feeling? How are you doing? And your quick thoughts on this Night 1.
Overall, I feel like it was a pretty good night. Yeah, almost everybody that I picked once, it makes me even happier. I feel like we had some like feel good moments tonight, so it's nice to start like WrestleMania this way. I
Yeah.
cannot imagine what tomorrow's gonna be like. That's what I'm excited for now. So,
I think tomorrow's going to be super hot as well. We have got a huge championship matchup that's going to be happening tomorrow. OLED, my good friend, please, how are you doing? How are things going? And please tell me your thoughts on Mania Night 1.
It's been a hell of a day. Like we had NXT earlier today and Stand and delivered.
Mm,
And I was like, man, Mania's got a lot to live up to, and for a few matches in there, they did it. I think there were a few matches that fell a little short, but
right.
overall, that's a pretty damn good night one. I didn't know PWG was now running WWE. That's fun. Good to see.
Right? Right? Andre coming in here. Hey, family. It's three people I've done shows with. Yes, it sure is. And we're so happy to have you along here. Basser69, my man. Oh, it's so good to see you in here as well. Best entrance, Dominic Mysterio. Evening, everyone. I think we're
Man,
definitely going to touch on that Dominic Mysterio entrance because I was not a fan. I'm just going to say that first.
ooh.
I want to give some. I mean, okay, a surprise, a surprise for me. Before we get to my surprise, I am a little pissed off at a 2-hour kickoff show that did nothing but recap what we've already seen on Monday Night Raw, on Friday Night SmackDown, on Main Event, on all of the other freaking shows that they are doing with no matches happening. Could we not have had the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal on a 2-hour pre show? Andre thinks that Miz and McAfee were the real main event. It was a shining star for me, but we're definitely going to get to that. First, what are your guys' thoughts? We'll start with Ed on this one. The kickoff show being 2 hours.
I don't watch the kickoff show. The only reason I even watched the NXT one today is because Ashton's like, I'm not gonna watch it. I don't think anything's happening on this. So I'm like, all right, cool. I'll just pop it on. It'll be on in the background. It's no big deal.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, the wrestling, like Booker T came down, and I'm like, Astrid, I think we're gonna have a match. You might want to turn on the pre-show. Andre Chase and Chase U came out. I'm like, Astrid, match pre-show. Turn it on. Here's my thing.
Yeah.
This week's SmackDown, even with the Battle Royal, felt really, really bad because there was nothing going on. Because they're building to Mania. And
Right.
they don't want to risk the Mania people on the show.
Exactly.
So my thing is, if you're not gonna put the Battle Royal on that, why do we need a 2-hour pre-show? Why not just an hour pre-show? No matches, just cover the matches we need to cover in the pre-show, recap, stand and deliver, and call it a day.
Okay, I think that would have had definitely been a really good idea. An hour with a recap of Stand and Deliver and what we're about to see for WrestleMania. I think that would have been really cool. Um, Astrid, what do you think about that? A 2-hour pre-show.
It does feel like too much when you're not doing any matches. I would have done at least the Andre the Giant in one night and maybe the girls battle royal for the other one, just to have everybody else that wasn't part of the card be part of the card somehow and get even that Mania payout as they like to say. Um, But yeah, while we have a kickoff that's 2 hours, if you're not gonna have any matches of it, that's why I decided to almost skip the NXT one because I'm thinking it's an hour. They're probably not gonna do anything. Everything is gonna be on the show,
Right.
and unless they give me ahead of time and tell me this particular match is gonna be on the kickoff, I'm not tuning in for it anymore. Because I used to have it in the background at least, thinking a match is gonna happen because they're probably gonna change the card last minute because they do that sometimes.
Right.
But for a while, they decided not to do that, so I stopped tuning in into that. So I'm thinking same thing's gonna happen with NXT. Nope, I was wrong.
So now Andre's asking the question, and this is going to be directed at both of you here. Is Tyler Bate the yogi for Chase
Yep.
U?
Yep. He is their official yogi.
There we go.
He's helped Tia Hale get over her issues with being kidnapped. Because, all it takes to get over being kidnapped is just some helpful mindful exercises and breathing. It's all it takes.
Right. Bobby, I definitely want to know what kind of food you were cooking instead of tuning in to the 2 hour pre-show. Now that we've actually had a 2 hour pre-show on night one of WrestleMania, as Bobby tells us, bison steaks, that sounds absolutely delicious. Was it a wet or a dry that you had with those steaks? You should know what I mean. Are we expecting a pre-show for night 2 of WrestleMania, and is it going to be just a lot of the same that we've already seen during the 2 hours of night 1?
Yeah, yep. It's going to be the exact same thing we saw for night 1. It'll be night 2. It'll be 2 hours, and it'll be recapping what happened last night and going over what's going to happen on the 6 matches that are on the card for night 2.
Bullshit. I just don't agree with that at all. You know what I did kind of agree with though, what I was a little bit happy about was the Andre first saying my pre-show tomorrow will be watching Stardom with Andre as an Adam until Mania starts. That's a that's a good pre-show, definitely. I really enjoyed the celebrity inclusion that was brought forth, where you're having like Gabriel Iglesias, Marina Menounos, coming back on again as well, and like a few of them I didn't know who they were, but I thought it was great to have them included because we all know that they have been part of before, and they are lifelong fans of not only just the WWE but professional wrestling as a whole. Are you guys okay with celebrities kind of being included in that pre-show?
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna have to have celebrities, put them where I don't have to watch them.
Understandable. I have to give a couple of on because I did watch the kickoff. I watched the entire 2 hours. So you guys apparently didn't, but there was a Corey Graves bow tie incident that I'm sure will be talked about for future years to come. And then Rosenberg actually calling out Booker T and Sharmell, as he says, I saw Sharmell, who had to go back to the hotel to get Booker T's hardware, meaning his 2 Hall of Fame championship rings. It was a nice little bit of humor that was in there. We open up with a cold start to WrestleMania, which for me was a surprise because I've tried to stay off of the socials to know about anything that's going on. But we opened up with Kevin Hart. For me, was a legitimate surprise, and I think was a fantastic cold open for a show. Ed, did you see that, and what were your thoughts?
Yeah, I think Kevin Hart's great for something like this because he's not involved in the show. It's a cold open. You can get him over. He's funny as hell, so it makes a whole lot of sense. And if you're doing a pre-show or you're doing an open, it's either tell the stories or be funny. They chose be funny. You can give him a script and he can go with it. He's an actor. Yeah. So, I mean,
which
I
did.
like Kevin Hart. Yeah, he did great. They replayed it later on in the show, and it was great.
Astrid.
Yeah, I mean, you're in Hollywood. Take advantage of any celebrity that wants to tag along to WrestleMania, especially for something as easy as a cold open, and they don't have to be involved in the ring or anything, whatever like that. So, and they can probably get paid for it anyway. So, why not? Especially if they're fans, take advantage of it. It's good. It's publicity for you. So, why not?
So, another legitimate surprise for me Again, as I try to stay off of social media, turns out that The Miz opens up as the host of WrestleMania, as we've all known, but is in the ring with Snoop Doggy Dogg, which for me was a legitimate surprise, and I actually enjoyed the inclusion of Snoop Dogg. Um, it's Snoop Dogg. Like you could maybe try to find and get bigger, but it's freaking Snoop Dogg, okay? Who has been part of professional wrestling, who enjoys professional wrestling. I didn't know that Snoop Dogg was going to be a co-host of WrestleMania, I guess. Did either one of you know?
I had no idea.
I mean, when Snoop decides to show up somewhere, Snoop gets to do what Snoop wants to do. I mean,
Yeah.
you can tell by Snoop's involvement in the show. He just sort of randomly just started walking around places, and they were like, all right, cool, you're doing this. Great. Does anybody tell that man no? I wouldn't.
I don't think so.
He walks up and he's like, we're doing this. Okay, Snoop, I'm with you. Where we going?
Right? Oh, I think that's absolutely fantastic. Let's fire it up. Oh, wait, Bobby. Bobby is saying that they call me Snoop at work. I think it's because my incredible rap abilities. Then again, I'm not sure that I've ever rapped before. A little PG-13. It is legal in most places now, but I don't think it's necessarily because of your rapping skills.
Might be a
Unless you're
different type of
really good at
rapping.
Christmas time.
Might be a different type of rapping.
I loved the words, let's fire it up. I thought that that was an absolutely great way to start out the show. For myself, I was really hoping, and thankfully it did not happen. That stage is hella high, and I was afraid of somebody falling off of that stage tonight. Thankfully, it did not happen, but we opened up the show with Theory taking on John Cena. In my opinion, was a very lackluster opener for WrestleMania Night 1. Sure, you get the pop of John Cena that being there, which, yes, everyone's going to pop for that one way or another, whether it's the yays or the boos, it doesn't matter. He's getting his pop. Not a bad match. I love the inclusion of the Make-A-Wish children being there on the WrestleMania stage for John Cena's entrance. Very good on the WWE and Make-A-Wish. That partnership has spanned a very long time, and I loved seeing that inclusion. John Cena's jorts really had me believing that he was going to be winning that championship, even if he was just going to drop it in a week's time. The United States flag that was on the pocket on the back, that belt, the wristbands, the elbow band, or yeah. I thought he was winning it. I really did. The match itself wasn't anything to write home about. I wasn't a fan of a ref bump in the first matchup. I get it if it's maybe a little bit further down the show. Whatever. Theory taps out during that time. Low blow happens. We find out who a winner is. Astrid, what are your thoughts on this matchup?
Yeah, I feel like it wasn't. I'm kind of used to, I guess, with like Impact and even with NXT when they open with those like high speed kind of matches and they give you that insight. So it's like what happened with NXT with the ladies being in the ladder match and even in Impact usually with the exhibition. So I'm kind of used to that pace. So
Right.
seeing this, it felt like really slow mo for me, and I don't like going into it with that kind of pace.
Right.
Cena is Cena. Obviously, he's gonna get the pop like you said, so it's something that I expected. But yeah, the performance in it itself, there's nothing really that I can say, well, like, wow, that was amazing or anything like that. The only thing that really stand out to me in this match is that Theory kept going in his confidence as the match kept progressing there. Every time like you think Cena had it, Theory would come in and like do something that he would take advantage of it. And even later, like you said, with the low blow, so it's like you had those moments of like it looks like he knew, like you can tell he knew Cena and his moves because he kept like counter programming them as he did. So you could see him going confident every time he did that. So this is something that, to myself, I said in my predictions earlier this morning, I knew I was thinking he was gonna win. I didn't see Cena, winning this match at all because I know not only is he filming, but I don't see him staying here for too long. There's just like one of those like one-offs. So I had a feeling that they was just gonna win this and just to be able to brag about it and Monday night that he beat Cena and beat his hero of all people. So that's all
Right.
I saw to this. But yeah, nothing too great to start.
Ed, what are your thoughts on this entire thing?
Um, I unfortunately went to go pick up food before the show started, and on my way home to get food, I saw Cena's entrance, and
Okay.
then I was like, all right, getting into the car, and then my car broke down,
Oh,
and I was on the side of the highway trying to fix my car. So when I finally got my car fixed and got back on the road, the tag team match had started. So I
oh,
don't know what
wow.
I will be watching this later on to see what happened. From everything I've seen and read, it's a typical John Cena match, especially at this point in his career.
Right.
He's not in ring shape like he used to be.
Right.
He can't go like he did in 2011 against CM Punk.
No.
What he can do is go out there and use his star power and use his name to help elevate younger superstars now that he's seen the error of his ways from back in the day where he thought that being on top was the only thing that mattered. And he's using that star power to help get guys that he likes over. And in this case, he chose Austin Theory.
Right.
And good for him. Let's see what happens with Austin Theory. Austin got what he needed to get. Let's see if he can carry it on. I still think Austin Theory has an open challenge on Monday and loses to a re-debuting Braun Breaker.
Okay. And you know what, given the events of what transpired, it was stand and deliver, 100%, I could see that. And I think that would be a good way to introduce Braun Breaker back into the Raw or the SmackDown universes for the WWE. After this matchup, yes, A-Town Down gets the pin, gets the win, everything goes through. We and I knew that this was going to happen because of everyone having to get from the ring all the way back up the ramp and to the back. But we had a 2K23 commercial, we had a Snickers commercial with Chad and Otis, we had a WWE shop commercial, all before we get into, and I need to flip my page here of my like 5 pages of notes. We get to the fatal 4-way tag team match. I have a little bit written down here for this. I like in this matchup, I like that they had the breakdown where all 4 teams came in together at once early on in the matchup to get it done and out of the way so that we could focus on the actual competition that was going on inside that ring. Now, Ed, you said that you got home just as the tag team match was starting. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Perfect. I want you to talk to me a little bit about this tag team matchup involving Strowman and Ricochet, the Viking Raiders, Alpha Academy, and the Street Profits.
This match was insane from start to. It reminded me a lot of the Stand and Deliver tag team triple threat.
Okay.
They just went balls to the wall with this. I mean, everybody going off the top rope. You had Strowman flying and doing almost a frog splash at one point. I mean, Otis tried getting up on the top rope at one point.
Right.
Titus O'Neil on commentary was fantastic in this match. Not everybody's built for it, and Titus isn't the greatest, but he was just good enough to really captivate us on this one. Especially when Otis was going up or when Ivar was doing his 305 live stuff. Whether it was that bounce off the second rope into the clothesline or the moonsault. Just fantastic stuff. I was shocked and amazed that they had Ricochet and Montez Ford basically do the opposite of what they did on SmackDown and have the Street Profits win. I was certain that this was going to be a de facto number 1 contenders match and that we were seeing a heel team win. And I was certain that it was going to be the Alpha Academy.
Right.
But this match, had it not been for one of the match later on in the night, this would have been my match of the day.
Okay.
The entire day.
Okay. Astrid, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I enjoyed this. I also had that moment of like Gable doing that rolling German suplex to Strowman. Like that was a great spot. So like I feel like this match should have opened like the show itself because I feel like the crowd was so behind it and so behind everybody. I did laugh though when Titus said instead of calling her Valhalla, he called her Sarah Logan in commentary. I was like, shoot, I noticed that. I was like, why did I have to notice that when it happened? But it did make
Right.
me laugh. I'm sorry, it did make me laugh. Um,
Yeah,
but no, this
definitely.
is. I feel like the action here was exactly how the opener should have been, just that fast paced and everybody doing everything they could to win this match. I wish I would have advertised instead of a showcase match as a like kind of round one contenders match from the get go because that's the feel
Right.
that I got from it. Is like there's something on the line here. We're all fighting for it, and that's what I gathered from like the atmosphere during this match. I loved it from beginning to end. I kept thinking the Street Profits have to win it. So when they won it, I was not really surprised about it. I was really happy that they
Of
had that
course.
moment to celebrate it. And I kept thinking, well, if we get Sammy KO later, this is going to be amazing to watch for me later. So I'm happy about it. But
Right.
yeah, overall, like this should have opened though. I would have preferred that instead.
I think I would have as well. I would have preferred that this one to open. I was very impressed with Angelo Dawkins being the one that stopped the Strowman train from going around that second time. That looked very intense, insane, and just was fantastic looking in my books. I was very, very happy with that. In the end, yes, the Profits for the win as Dawkins pins Ricochet, like Astrid mentioned there. Total backwards from what we just saw. So I enjoy that they did that because it really, people like to predict the programming. And you kind of watch SmackDown, and then you see, oh, Ricochet, pinned, oh, so it's going to be Strowman that's going to get the win, and that's who's winning, right? And that's kind of how it almost felt until everything started going down. Absolutely fantastic. We have a couple more commercials go on before our next matchup. This one involving Brock and Omos. Um, Calling Omos a superstar? I don't know. I think he's almost a superstar.
I think he's almost a wrestler, let alone superstar.
Almost a wrestler. Almost. Right.
I'm not an Homo sapien. I'm sorry. I'm just not.
Me either. I really am not. I am not. But they're really trying to build him up and build him as being this larger than life type of person, even showing a graphic, between, Great Khali and The Undertaker and Kane and all of these other big men that were there and him being bigger than all of them. I think just, for me, it feels like they're just trying to spoon feed us way too much. Bobby almost forgot the match was even happening tomorrow.
Me too.
Right. Logan Paul.
Astrid's favorite Puerto Rican.
Internet, YouTube sensation. A guy that is out there in the masses for everyone to see. Maybe not everybody to like and enjoy. But this guy was mic'd up and came down to the ramp on a freaking zip line. My first thought, hey, you're no Shawn Michaels, dude.
He
My
did it from
first thought,
he did it from half the height and only did like 20 feet.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
The inclusion of a Prime Energy mascot, I'm thinking, really? We find out a little bit later what's going on with that. The crowd seemed really quiet during his entrance on television. On screen, it came off as kind of quiet for Logan Paul's entrance, which I thought that, they may have even piped in some extra just to give the illusion and the allure of Logan Paul. The orchestra conductor. The next thing, okay, so that really hit very, very close to home for me. I was a choir director. So this kind of was like, ooh, that could have been me. Ooh, this is really great. Whoever was running production in the truck for the audio, spot on, fantastic. I loved that for Seth Rollins' entrance. And we talk a little bit about Shawn Michaels before. I think that this entire thing was an homage to Shawn Michaels, one with the zip line. And then after Seth Rollins took off his bubble coat, whatever bubble gown thing that was, I don't even know. But then we see a very Shawn Michaels-esque looking attire, including chaps. I want your guys' thoughts. Let's start with you, Astrid, on just those entrances alone first.
I mean, Logan is Logan. I can't say anything positive about that one. But anyway, let's move on. No, Rollins, I'm used to Rollins having like something great for his entrance. You know, he's had from like the Game of Thrones to like the Fire one before. So it's always that I expect from him as it is. And I like having this one too. What I liked it, the crowd I had been singing along with the choir director as he was doing that. That would have been the only touch. I heard some people, but they did a little bit later. But I love that inclusion of that to do the entrance at first. And when I saw the outfit, I was waiting for him to take off that jacket, and I was waiting and waiting. I'm like, what does he really have under his sleeve? Because it's Rollins.
Yeah.
Yeah, the pink is definitely something I did not expect in the outfit, but it was great detailing. Made him stood out. It's so great. Yeah, I love the entrance from beginning to end. And I always love Rollins, so it's not surprised that I enjoyed how much, how entertaining the entrance was alone.
Ed, what do you think about those entrances?
See, I wasn't a huge fan of the choir director because I wasn't a fan of the audio that they played with the choir director.
Okay.
I think it would have been better had they just had a choir there. Like,
right.
This is Mania.
Yeah.
This is Hollywood. You're telling me you can't get a group of a gospel choir in Hollywood?
I thought they had one in the background for a moment, and I was waiting for them to show them, and then I realized it didn't happen. I was kind of disappointed.
I didn't like the audio that they used. It sounded a little crackled. It didn't sound real, which is unfortunate because the crowd, all they needed was the 80,000 live crowd to just use those voices and to have a sign on those big ass TVs that they had up there that just says "Sing Whoa," and they would have been better off just doing that. As far as
you're right.
Like, I like the choir guy. I just wish that it would have been more. If you're gonna have a choral director, just go all out with it. If you're gonna go all out for Mania, just go.
More realism to it.
Yeah, because why use an audio track when you can just use live voices?
True.
I mean, think of Bobby Roode in NXT. They wanted to do Glorious the right way when they debuted him. What did they do? Right. They got a choir of 30 people and just had them sing Glorious. Mm-hmm. It shouldn't have been that hard. Like I said, it was a good idea. The execution on my end was a little bit lacking, but I can see where people enjoyed it. Like I said, the idea is there. I just think that they needed to go another step or two in my mind. And then, I mean, Seth, those chaps. As soon as I saw the chaps, I'm like, yep, that's Shawn Michaels, all right. Mm-hmm. He's got chaps on.
Yep.
And I asked my mother, because I watch wrestling with my mom, especially big pay-per-views. I looked at her and I go, what wedding shop did Seth Rollins rob for that gown? Because the bubble coat with the big, huge train, it reminded me of a wedding dress just cut down the front.
Yeah. Yeah.
It just reminded me of this big-ass red wedding dress cut down the front.
Very true. Ed, let's continue on with you. Let's get into this matchup. What did you think of this matchup itself as a whole?
Logan Paul, as much as we don't want to... I can't unsee that. Oh, God, I can't unsee that. All right, Logan Paul.
Yeah.
As much as we don't want to like Logan Paul, and for a variety of reasons, whether you want to or not, there's plenty of reasons to not like Logan Paul.
Right.
Fake Puerto Rican, all kinds of crazy stuff he does on YouTube that's just an unlikable asshole. Like, there's multiple reasons to just not like Logan Paul. The one thing you can't say is the dude doesn't take the wrestling portion of his wrestling career seriously. Because he was really good in this match. But more so than just the moves this time, it was the selling. His kickouts on 2 in this match were fantastic.
Yeah.
He was buying into the 2 counts. He was getting his shoulder up at the last second. He wasn't watching the referee.
Right.
He was really into the moment in this match. And to me, it's showing such great growth from somebody who's a celebrity to taking this seriously. And should he choose to become a big money competitor like a Brock Lesnar or have a part-time contract like a Roman Reigns where he works 50 days a year as opposed to 12, this guy could be a legitimate champion in this company.
I fully agree with that. We're first for all of you that are watching right now, have your voice heard as well. Leave us a comment. We will put it up on screen for you, as long as it's
Appropriate,
within reason and appropriate. Very much so. But yeah, be part of the conversation with us here. We absolutely love the interaction. Astrid, I know that you are not a Logan Paul fan of the
Really?
person himself,
Yeah.
but let's speak to the abilities that he showed us inside that ring tonight. What do you think?
Yeah, that's one thing I have to agree. It's like when he goes into it, he goes all out. Like him and Bad Bunny have been my standouts as celebrities to come in here and have like they have earned my respect in the aspect of like you can tell they have been training and putting their hours into their work. Him being the human being that he is a different story. But with his performance, I had to give him his credit, like where credit's due. He had a great performance, and I feel like Rollins was another great person to like help him in this chapter of his career as well. So it makes sense for this to happen the way it did. I was conflicted. I was thinking like at one point he was probably gonna win because I'm thinking they're in Hollywood. It's his birthday. It's like you never know. Um,
Yeah,
but yeah, I'm glad that Rollins won. I feel like he did need that victory as well. I want him to get that momentum going back up to him, especially like probably with Cody winning not tomorrow. We have to have that sometime in the future revisited with the championship in the on the line. But once I saw that person dressed up with the Prime bottle, I automatically knew something was going to happen here sooner or later. I did not expect it to be KSI, but it had to be him, of
no,
course. Yeah, I love that part of like him with the phone and holding as Logan is setting up for the move and Rollins
right.
getting out of the way just as KSI gets it instead. I think that was
Yeah.
definitely. I hope they had a video of it because I would like to see that video from that point of view, like he did last time with Roman.
can
Um,
I ask a silly question?
Yeah.
what
What's a KSI?
My notes here says Prime Guy KSI. Who the hell? I don't know.
Like
all I can say is they're friends.
I enjoy my YouTube. I heard them say he's a YouTube superstar.
Hmm.
I, I don't know who he is. It didn't matter. I honestly thought it was going to be Jake Paul, because at least then it would have been
Yeah,
somebody that is worthwhile. Like
yeah,
Right.
I thought it was Jake too.
I don't know what a KSI is. I didn't care. Oh, okay, there we go. KSI is a
Okay.
British rapper. All right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And Barry Monkey, thank you for coming in and joining the conversation here with
Barry,
us.
we missed you on Send and Deliver reactions today. We missed you.
Yeah. Yes, we
He
did.
he did come in with a comment though, saying if I just saw Logan Paul and didn't know who he was,
Hmm.
I'd assume he was a solid mid carder with years of experience. And yeah, I would. That's pretty on point, to be
Hmm.
honest. I think it is. Yeah, Astrid, do you have anything
Hmm.
else to add to this matchup here?
No, I love seeing just the like that addition of like I knew something's gonna happen at one point with whoever was in the mascot. Just like that, I was thinking of somebody like Jake Paul, somebody that I would recognize a little bit faster than KSI. It took me a moment to realize it was him. That's the only thing. But other than that, it makes sense. They're friends and business partners, so it does make sense that he's the other person that will be there aside from Jake. But
Right.
at the same time, I'm glad Rollins won. I feel like he definitely needed that victory with everything going out recently. So. I'm hoping this is the start to that momentum to keep it going from now on, especially after Raw. But yeah, I'm really glad he won more than anything.
Me too, very much so. I'm glad that Rollins won this. He won with a stomp for the win. I just want to go through a couple of quick things here first. Logan Paul with that jump to the top rope from the from the mat to the top rope, absolutely fantastic. The seated octopus looked gorgeous, and I'm very glad that he put that on as nicely as he did. Rollins with 3 dives, a hand stomp on that, surgically repaired hand that they keep talking about, the one with
Yeah.
that, pin inside of it.
But the
Fantastic.
titanium.
And Logan Paul kept selling that and continued selling that throughout the
Hmm.
matchup, which I absolutely adored. The near fall pin combo. Yes, I totally messed that up at first. The near fall pin combo, the back and forth like 6 different times,
Hmm.
totally sold me that Logan Paul has gone and done enough training to make things
Hmm.
look good, because
Yeah.
that looked good to me. Kicking
Com-
out of
oh,
the pedigree.
Hmm.
Wow. Wow. Blew me away. The GTS by Logan Paul might not have looked the greatest, but wow. Wow. Ed, what you got?
I was just going to ask you, as having been an in-ring competitor, what's the vertical jump that he did to get from ground level to the top rope of the turnbuckle? Because those are all roughly the same, no regardless what size the ring is, right?
Roughly they're the same. You're looking probably about uh, 4 feet 8 inches to 5 feet 2 inches
So he did almost a 70-inch vertical jump from standing.
from standing. That's why I'm so impressed.
That was insane. Like I saw that,
Right?
I'm like,
He slipped a
Jesus.
little.
Yeah,
But
he
but
got there.
he did. He got there, and I was like, "Holy shit!"
Even if he had fallen on his ass outside the ring, he still got the 70 inches up. Like, that's the hardest part to me. Let alone
Right?
that he landed it and still did the moonsault. I'm just surprised he got the 70 inches up. Like, that's impressive.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so Bobby's leaving message says that sounds about right. WW rings are a bit larger in scale to independent ones, though, which makes it even more impressive. Yeah, like 100%. They're clearly not a 6 foot tall, from mat to top of the ring post, but you're looking about a good 5'2". I would say at max 5 feet 2 inches, and that's damn impressive. Time to move on to the next flip of my sheet. You're going to see me doing that a few more times here tonight. What have we got next? We have the 6-woman tag team matchup that happened. Damage Control taking on Lita. Yes, you heard that right. Trish. Yes, 2023. And you've heard me say Lita and Trish Stratus and Becky Lynch. Um, I loved that comic book entrance.
Yeah.
That for me,
Hmm.
like somebody was cutting freaking onions. Okay, okay. Lita with her best theme music, 100% Bobby. Loved that theme music for her, always did. Um, that entrance honestly blew me away. It was very simple, it was very basic, but it just made things feel so different for me
Hmm.
that I was impressed. Astrid, I want you to go through your thoughts on this matchup as a female personality here on this show. What did this 6-woman matchup do for you?
I don't want to say I was disappointed, but it was like I was like thinking like so
Hmm.
more than anything because of Lita. I felt like there was moments that I noticed like Io carrying her, Io helping her.
Yeah.
At the beginning where they were like all face to face, they were supposed to punch each other. It looks like Io didn't even punch her, but I saw Lita moving her hair like as if she got hit, but she wasn't. And there was moments I forgot what move Lita did, and you can tell like it was more than anything Io like doing the rest of the move than Lita doing it. And there was moments like that that I noticed that it was like her carrying her, and I was like, this is like hurting me inside because I don't want to see that like her struggling the way she is. And even from the beginning, I noticed when after the entrance happened, we have Becky going in with the title, raising it, and she's like pointing at the crowd, but she's also telling Lita what to do. She's like, "Let's go this way, and let's go this way."
Yeah.
And I noticed her like doing that even towards the end too, when they celebrated after the win, when they went up in the turnbuckles to celebrate. She was like, "Go to that one, now go to this one." I was like, I didn't like seeing being able to see her giving her direction. I was like, she should be able to know where she's going. It's like it's Lita. She's done this for a while.
Right.
So that's one part that did bother me. I did love the entrance from like having that like the way they put it together of like they both influenced Becky to who she is now and her having that moment with them. I think that was amazing to see. I also love Trish's gear going back to like the gear that she had before. I think they said it was like 21 years beforehand,
21,
which I love.
WrestleMania 18.
Yeah, so I love seeing that of the like they pointed it out too in the commentary. Is like this is kind of similar to what she had on before. But overall, I like what the girls did on at least on the damage control side. I love that the frequent tags and the double team moves and the triple team moves that they had. They were beautifully done. And there were moments that I think they were all of them were like kicking somebody at the same time, and it was like I love seeing the timing of it too. It was so well done between all of them. But yeah, I was like I love the Trish part. I wish Trish would have done a little bit more. I feel like she wasn't there enough in the ring. So that I would have
Yep.
wished to see more from her than from Lita in that aspect of it. But like Becky's Becky, so I can't complain about Becky. She did incredible. I love the parts that she had, especially with Bailey, and like being able to
Yeah.
share those little moments here and there. I wish I would have been a little bit more as well. So I was like, this match was like half and half for me. The Lita part is like what took away from me from the match itself. But other than that, I loved the match and like the energy they had and the pacing of it. But I wish, Lita had those moments of like it wasn't that great for me, unfortunately.
Barry Monkey went and made something to eat at the start of this matchup and believes that he made the right decision after coming back and seeing the ending of the matchup. Go back and watch it anyways, Barry Monkey. Go and take a look and just
Mhm.
absorb it for what it is. Yes, Lita herself really did not look all that great in the ring, and yes, it's been really since 2002 that she's been inside of a WWE ring performing. But I can't use that as an excuse because Trish looked like she wrestled last week. It was absolutely insane to see Trish Stratus in there and what she was able to do. Ed, what are your thoughts on this matchup?
Don't worry, Rashford. I can complain enough for Becky for all of us. Don't you worry. um, Here's my takeaway from this match, and I'm going to leave the match alone because it was what it was and it's fine. Why should I care about Bailey? Why should I care about damage control?
Mhm.
What has WWE done to make me care about any of the three of them? Bailey
Right.
came back at SummerSlam, and she brought back Io, and she brought back Coda. Since then, all she's done is win to a point and then lose anything that matters.
Right.
They won the tag team titles and lost them to Lita, who apparently is Ric Flair in the ring now. I don't know how or why that happened, but she looks like Ric Flair in the ring.
Yeah.
She, to the point where I was petrified when I saw her go to the top rope because I'm like, she's having a bad night. I don't want her doing that moonsault. We saw in the Royal Rumble a couple years ago that moonsault doesn't always go right. But more so, why should I care about Bailey at this point? I love Bailey. I'm one of Bailey's biggest fans. But WWE has told me I shouldn't care because all she's going to do is lose and all her girls are going to do is lose.
Right.
And that hurts because I think all three of them are incredibly top talented women who can do amazing things.
Yes.
Why couldn't we put them over Trish and Lita?
Mhm.
I get that we needed a babyface pop at some points during some of these nights, but this night was a lot more babyface pop than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
It was.
I mean, I had a lot more heels winning on this when I did my predictions on night one, and They could have used a couple more heel wins.
Right. The match was the match. I'm a Lita fan. I always have been a Lita fan. Did I enjoy what I saw from Lita? A little bit, just because it's Lita. I love you, Amy, but please, I think it's time. Just, it's time.
I don't know if she needs more ring time to get more in the flow of things. I don't know if her body just can't do it anymore. I'm all in favor of her doing what she wants to do and being out there on television. But I if you're going to be out there with top tier women, you need to be able to perform at top tier.
Right.
If she's going to perform like she performed tonight, Zia Lee and Chelsea Green are perfectly capable women that she can work with. Just saying.
Burn. Let's talk about another burn in this next matchup. Something that kind of had me, okay, a little bit of commentary that had me questioning what are they talking about? The assimilation of an all American family. Are they all American or are they Mexican? We're talking the Mysterios right now. I've always known the Mysterios to be, like, yes, okay, maybe San Diego, California, like, but they're Mexican. So why are we giving this whole thing the assimilation of an all-American family? It didn't. I don't know. It didn't resonate with me. It didn't sound right to me, but I could very well be wrong. Barry Monkey apparently hates the metric system. That's why that's why to him, CM Punk will always be 0.39 inches Punk, and Lita will always be 0.22 gallons. This matchup, boy, oh boy. I want to talk about Dominic's entrance real quick here. It hurt my head because it made absolutely no sense to me at all. Barry Monkey, if people don't give us terrible jokes, we wouldn't have any jokes at all. It's all good, buddy. It's all good. This entrance to me was a joke. So we've already seen Dominic. He got arrested. We've already seen, they showed us like 13,000 times, when he's going to, mommy and daddy's house, or he's going to grandma and grandpa's house and getting arrested. So why are we seeing him come in a paddy wagon handcuffed when we already know that he has been out of jail, because he keeps telling us that he has served hard time and come out of jail? This made no sense to me at all. The mask, though, I think was a very nice little touch, 100%. And I love that he took the mask off and kind of gave it off to somebody at like a kid at ringside. I think that was very, very good on him. It was very subtle. Not everybody picked up on that. What the hell was this entrance? Can somebody explain it to me?
I mean, it's ex-con Don. What?
He's showing you his hard life. That's what it was.
But why was he still arrested? Why was he in handcuffs still?
Michael
In the paddy wagon.
Michael Cole said it. What in the orange is the new black is going on with
Yes.
this little bastard? Yeah, he said it on commentary.
Yes.
And the best part of all of this is Corey Graves stumbling over himself to try to figure out how this works.
Yes.
Right?
Michael's sitting here and he's like, "This is stupid. I don't get this." And Corey's like, "No, it works. Just let me try and figure it out."
Yes.
God bless Corey Graves. God bless Corey Graves.
Orange is the new black, scared straight wannabe. I had to write it down because I'm like, that's a good line. I liked that line. Rey Mysterio's entrance.
Gosh.
Yes. Okay. As I'm sure Astrid probably did, as I'm sure Ed may have as well. I had tears in my eyes, not
Mm.
those Ric Flair crocodile tears. I had
Mm.
real tears coming out of my eyes.
I found those onions you were
Oh,
talking about earlier.
right, right, 100% me too. Absolutely loved it. Coming in with Snoop Dogg in Snoop Dogg's
Mhm.
Lowrider to Eddie's music. Oh, man, Astrid, I know you had emotions for that. I know you did.
Yeah.
Give me something. Give me something.
Like,
Talk to me
come
here.
on, I got Eddie my lowrider right there. Come on. No, this was definitely like it made me cry. And at the moment I was crying, I was like, I look ridiculous crying. But at the same time, I had my brother text me, I'm crying too. And I was like, okay, I'm not alone on this. Great. No, it's like I grew up watching like loving people like Ray and Eddie. They're the reason why I fell in love with wrestling, why I kept watching wrestling. And they're also like the Latino representation that I got growing up in wrestling as well. So that's also very important to me, being Latina. So seeing that and be able to like see him in the lowrider, I already teared up, and then
Hmm.
having him put a little bit of the music there too, and then having a little bit of his music afterwards, I was like, that great combination of both of them just it hit me in the feels. I literally cried the whole time. It felt amazing. Like I love that tribute that he did to Eddie. Eddie always meant
Hmm.
a lot to me. Like it's gonna sound stupid to most people, but I had a VHS at the time, so I recorded his tribute in the VHS. So I could keep watching it and keep crying ever after Eddie was done, just
Right.
because I love seeing those clips of and people talking about how great about Eddie. So seeing this, it felt so amazing to watch it. I wish I could have been there live. I know I had goosebumps and everything just seeing that. It was amazing from beginning to end. I definitely want to rewatch just the entrance alone because that meant a lot to me.
Felicia's letting us know that it was beautiful for her as well. Thank you so much, Felicia, for coming by and leaving us some comments and being part of the conversation here with us. Bobby Munson saying can't go wrong here. Eddie tribute while cruising with Snoop Dogg is A plus 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 plus. Ed, I want you to take me through this matchup. Give me your thoughts on it.
So I like this match. It didn't end the way I thought it would, and we'll get to that when we get to it. Um, Having Bad Bunny at ringside it felt like something else was going to happen other than what happened, and again I'll get to that as we talk about the finish later on.
Right.
Dominic Mysterio has gone from somebody I just want to punch in the face just for existing. Like when he was a babyface and I was supposed to cheer him, all I wanted to do was punch him in the face because his face is just so punchable.
Right.
He's gotten such an amazing character about himself. Like
Right.
it or hate the XCOM Dom thing. Like, fine, take it or leave it. The way he's gotten Angie and Aaliyah to play along, especially
Mhm.
Aaliyah. Like Aaliyah was kicked off television with Buddy Murphy because they couldn't get anything out of her.
Right.
I mean, people forget that. She
Mhm.
was literally they dropped the storyline because they couldn't get enough out of her. But her and Dom has been amazing the last few weeks. Um yeah, prison time changes people. Even kayfabe prison time
Yeah.
changes people.
Right. Right. It does.
Um but Dominic is so good at what he does at
Right.
such a young age with so little training. He's only going to get better. And this group of people that they've aligned him with, people like Damian Priest, people like Finn Balor, especially Finn Balor when he's Jamiroquai Finn Balor like he was tonight. Like
Right.
he's learning from the best. Being side by side with Rhea Ripley. Even if Rhea Ripley is side by side with her real boyfriend, Buddy Murphy, it's so good. This
Yeah.
group of four is fantastic. And for a little while there, when Legado came out during the end of this match, I legitimately thought that we were going to see Bad Bunny turn heel and join the Judgment Day. to even the odds because you had
Mm-hmm.
3 members of Legato and only 2 members on the outside of Judgment Day. And I
Right.
was like, you know, Bad Bunny would they turn Bad Bunny heel going into Puerto Rico? Could
Ew.
you, but you've set up a big money match by him stealing that chain from Dominic.
Oh yes.
Could you now this is a legitimate question. Could we buy a main event in Puerto Rico of Dominic Mysterio versus Bad Bunny over Cody Rhodes defending the title for the first time?
No.
Would that play?
No, I would include
No.
Damien in there though, just to like have the opposite of Damien and Bad Bunny, and based on their relationship in the past.
So we're gonna do it. So we open with a tag match then at Backlash, and it's gonna be Ray and Bad Bunny versus Priest and Dominic.
Yeah,
I could
something
see
like that.
that. I would be okay with that. I would not be okay with.
Plus, we gotta add it. Bad Bunny did the carpool karaoke not too long ago. The one person that was with him at the end, Rey Mysterio.
Okay.
There we go.
I don't keep up with my Bad Bunny. I
I
had
don't
just,
either.
I had just enough Bad Bunny knowledge to answer to my mother when they looked at it and they were like, "He's the most streamed superstar in the world," and my mother goes, "Who the hell is that jabroni?" And I'm like, "He's Bad Bunny, ma." Apparently, worldwide, a lot of people listen to his music. She's like, "Is his
Apparently.
music any good?" And I'm like, "I have no clue."
Yeah.
Barry Monkey definitely does agree with you. Ed says, I agree about Dominic at first. I was wanting him to be released and saw it off to somewhere like the NWA, but now he's turned into one of the WWE's best heels. I wouldn't go as far as saying that he's, one of the WWE's best heels at this precise moment, but I think that definitely he has the workings to be there and get there for sure. Astrid, is there anything that you want to add to this matchup and what transpired?
No, just I can imagine from Ray and Dominic just backstage thinking like we got to share the ring together in this aspect, and just incredible to think about. It's not often that you have a father face his son, especially at WrestleMania, so I think that's incredible as it was. I also have loving the factors of having Aaliyah and Angie there at ringside too. It adds to it, especially when having Ray celebrating towards the end too.
Yes.
Um, I from the beginning I was just waiting for the moment Legado will come in there and Judgment Day as well. And I love that part of having Bad Bunny in there. I think it's funny also because I know he doesn't speak a lot of English, so at first I thought he's gonna be in the English commentary table, and then I
Right.
noticed that we're gonna put him in the Spanish one. I was like, that makes more sense. I'm glad they did that. But I also love the detailing that Dom had because he did a lot of Eddie's moves through the whole match, and even his gear itself. It had a lot of mix of Mysterio and Eddie as well
Oh,
in there
yeah.
too. So I love those little bits and pieces that you get there that you don't think about until like maybe after. But I love even that having the three amigos, for example, those little things of like wanting to do that and even trying to do the 619. Um, I love the match, I really did. And I love how it happened. I kept thinking this is gonna end up being into more into backlash because we have that aspect of, like you said earlier, Carl. It's a Mexican family. We're gonna Puerto Rico, bring the Latinos together somehow. So I
Right.
think it's a great marketing aspect of bringing the Hispanics together in some sort of match involving Bad Bunny makes sense to me as well. So this is something that I could see building up for them going into backlash and going to Puerto Rico. So.
It was a Dominic Mysterio match that I absolutely hate to say I enjoyed. A Michinoku driver. What? What?
Yeah.
Okay, I had to like replay it in my head going, did that actually just happen? Rey Mysterio's mask looked very different,
Yeah.
but very, very intense, like a very different Rey Mysterio at that time. I absolutely loved that mask. It was very
You know who?
what's that new movie that John Cena just did? Um I can't even remember. I'm drawing a blank right now. But
Suicide
he had
Squad?
that like half mask on that looked kind of plastic, and I know it just really worked, this mask, for me anyways. It wasn't your typical tie up
Mhm.
in the back looking mask. It was a nice change that I actually enjoyed.
You know what the mask reminded me of?
What's that?
And especially with the Hall of Fame last night and everything else, it reminded me of a Keiji Muto mask.
A little bit, yes, it did. Or
It
a
had
great
those,
Muta.
yeah, the Great Muta. It had those ridges. It had
Mhm.
the roundness of it. Ray's masks are all kind of full faced. This one kind
Yeah,
of
you can
Yeah,
see more of his
stopped.
face going like that.
It reminded me a lot of a mask that the Great Muta would put on, or a
right.
face paint that the Great Muta would put on in mask form.
Right. No, no, very much so. I think you're correct there, definitely.
The Independent, was that the name of the movie?
No, it was a superhero. Peacemaker.
I
Oh,
was
okay,
thinking Peacemaker,
Peacemaker.
but then you said Half Mast, and I was like, wait, no, I don't
Yeah,
think it's
I
that.
was trying to think. The half mask threw me off too because I was like Suicide Squad, Peacemaker.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no,
Oh,
Ray's was kind of like a half mask tonight.
okay.
And Parrish, yes, the Chris Parrish coming in here. Ray looked like he had a mission tonight. I think he 100% did, and
Mm.
he met that mission. I think that was great.
Yeah.
I got a question for both of you. What's with the bubble outfits? As we make our way into our next matchup,
Well, safety's a concern. No, I'm kidding.
right? I guess so. With the height that stage is, maybe they were like, okay, we know that these people are a little bit more clumsy, so we best put them into some bubble outfits. Rhea Ripley taking on Charlotte Flair. Charlotte Flair coming out in, again, a very boisterous outfit that the girlfriend sitting beside me goes, "What's with all the bubble outfits?" That's literally what she said to me. And I'm
Mhm.
like, I don't know. Was that new music for Charlotte?
It's I won't say new because it wasn't debuting tonight, but it's very recent. Yeah, she debuted what I think a little bit after she returned.
Okay, because it sounded really really different to me,
Hmm.
100%. I liked it though. Still had
Yeah.
those Ric Flair undertones. Bigger
Hmm.
is better in most cases, Chris. I'd rather a small enema. Just saying. Bobby saying that this was match of the night for him, and I think that something for all of us to take in is that was a historic matchup that included women in the entire thing, being announcing, refereeing, and working the match. Absolutely beautiful to see that, and I love that they announced that and showcased that as much as they did. It was a very aggressive start to this matchup. Mel, thanks.
I'm terrible
Love
with
you.
hearts. There we go.
Um, the only thing that really took away from this matchup for me, because everything was great in this matchup, I loved it. It sounds like the microphone was turned up for this matchup. I really, really noticed a lot of talking, a
Mhm.
lot of, I could hear the referee. Like I could hear everything that was going on, and my
Mhm.
television wasn't even any louder than I normally have it. That kind of threw me off a little bit. Ed, I want to start with you and get your thoughts on this matchup.
The girls sold like gangbusters in this match. There was at one point I put in the group chat that we all have going on that I was legitimately concerned for Rhea Ripley because she kept checking her after getting dropped on her head. She kept checking her hand,
Mm-hmm.
and her eyes were looking at a person directly in front of them as if they were 30 feet away. And I was like, ooh, I don't like that.
Right?
But she went out there and she continued to kill it. And Charlotte Flair did everything and anything she could to make Rhea Ripley feel like the biggest star in the world
Oh yes.
tonight.
Oh yes.
I mean, Charlotte went above and beyond. I mean, the sell on just the look on her face. I legitimately asked if maybe the makeup department legitimately did her makeup to make her look more maniacal and less beautiful tonight. In comparison to Rhea, Rhea's makeup is the style that makes her more appealing in the character that she is. Which is honestly the purpose of makeup. But in this one, it looked like they did to Charlotte to make her look a little more natural, but only
Right.
that, a little bit more crazed. Because throughout that match, her face didn't look like the face of the Charlotte Flair we've seen for the past 8 months.
No.
She looked crazed, maniacal. She didn't know what was going on, and she was
Right.
entering a level that she's never been before. And then the smile on her face. In character, she's saying, "You got the better of me. Good for you." That's
Right.
the smile on my face. In reality, that smile is, "I just did the damn job, and I couldn't be happier about it."
Right.
I'll say this, and I know based on the way the main event went, a lot of people are going to disagree with me. WWE made the wrong call. Sammy and Kevin should have gone on before the women. These women should have main evented with this match.
I
This,
agree.
the storyline in KO and Sammy gave them the right to make the call, to try it.
Yes.
Hindsight being 50-50, looking back, WWE made the wrong call. I would have ended with Rhea and Charlotte.
I honestly think that I would have too. I think that would have been the perfect way to end out this first night of WrestleMania. Felicia agrees. Bobby agrees. Bobby's even letting us know, and I'm sure that this is very true, that Rhea and Chris Motionless from Motionless in White have the same stylist. I can 100% believe that, even if it's not true. Yeah, I can damn well believe that. So much was happening and going on inside of this matchup. First, the history that was happening, the aggressiveness that was happening. The corner chops looked great. Good hard hits back and forth. That nip up to the natural selection to the rollout after that was just very smart and well done for me. Um, I think that the suplex onto Charlotte's face. Okay, legitimately thought that she had a broken nose. Looks like now it wasn't a broken nose. It looks more like it was just mat burn. You ever get a carpet burn or a rub burn? That's kind of what it looked like to me. The back and forth of everything with this matchup just continued to grip me. And literally, we were on the edge of our seats. We were sitting on the edge of our seats for this matchup. Chris says going in, right call, but women stepped up and showed their worth. Yes, they did. Astrid, we're going to end this conversation with you on the women's matchup. How do you feel about this? And how do you feel that the women were portrayed in this matchup for the WWE?
Not lie, you can ask Ed. When that match was done, I was about to get ready, and I was like, "What? There's another match, and I forgot." Because I felt like that was the main event. Like I truly felt it, and that was like no shade to the guys, because like I love the match, and I love the story going into it. But the way that ended, it felt like such a great ending to a Mania night that I was like, okay, let me get my stuff ready, and I was like, wait, I feel like something's missing. And then I told Ed, and I was like, wait, there's another match is still happening. But that felt like a main event, and this is why it goes back to I was watching her in Charlotte's interview with Ryan Satin earlier today, and she even said it best, and I couldn't agree with her more. She mentioned and she said, I will, at least for me, I will remove that tagline about whoever wins the Rumble gets to main event WrestleMania, because she said it from this aspect. She said, "How come from like maybe like 99% of the guys that win the Rumble main event WrestleMania, but how come that hasn't been the case with the girls?" And I was like, I love that. I love that argument. And I was like, I kept thinking
Right.
either have one winner do the main event for one night and the other winner for the second night. That's
Right.
my thought process. Or remove that tagline of like main event. You just get a title match and that's it. Um, because I kept thinking like this match itself, the build wasn't the best, but I feel like they delivered and they over delivered for me because that was amazing to watch. And it did feel like a main event to me. I wanted to say, and I'm glad you guys said it before I did. It did feel like a great main event. I loved the back and forth they had, the way that Charlotte would, take away and reverse the riptides the way she did on, constant
Oh
times.
yeah.
I think that there was a time that Rhea did the German suplex to her, but like you said, she hit it in the mat like face first. I love those parts of like, and even the riptide from like the second rope towards the end, from the top rope towards the end, like that was beautifully done. I love more than anything the moment that had my feels was seeing Rhea with the championship as Charlotte is smiling in the ring, and they actually showed her. It didn't happen like it happened with Sasha and Bianca that they people were actually putting the camera at Sasha, but it wasn't WWE. But this time we got it with Charlotte of the point of like she was smiling with this, and you can tell
Yeah.
like from her personally and based on what happened this weekend of like the argument about the main event that this was her saying, I just showed you a main event, whether that was the main event or not. And seeing that smile on her face, I was like, I was so proud of the women tonight. I love this match. I can imagine Bianca and Asuka are gonna do something similar tomorrow. Of that aspect of the performance is gonna be great. So, one thing I'm happy with this match. I can't wait to watch it again.
Speaking of tomorrow night, Barry Monkey doesn't think that anything is going to be able to top what we saw from this woman's matchup here tonight. He is believing that nothing is going to beat what he saw tonight. We're making our way to the main event, or what we all kind of thought and expected to be the main event, as Parrish lets us know that this match was deserving, but the build-up was questionable for the women's matchup. I want to make sure that we cover that before we
I
get to.
and by the way, I agree. Like I said, like Parrish said too. Going in with the options they had, I don't. They weren't wrong to make the call they made.
Right.
It's a ballsy decision, and you're going to have to take the heat if you're wrong. And I think they're going to have to eat a little bit of crow. But that being said, I don't disagree with making the call. You have your choices. You have a story that's been built for 8 months. You have this story that everybody's invested in. And you have a story with Rhea and Charlotte, which is, as Chris Parrish says, a questionable build. But you
Right.
know the match is going to deliver. They made the choice they made. And I don't fault them. Like, I'm not sitting here and going, banging my drum going, this is an outrage. How dare they do this?
Of
They
course.
didn't give, it's not like they said, oh, we think you're going to give you the main event. No, we're getting you 5 minutes and then you're done. They gave them 20. They gave them more than enough time. And that match built. Like, it
Yep.
started really slow and I was like, ooh, they might have given them too much time. And then that match picked up. Yeah, as Parrish says, the women's tonight earned the value and said we are the main event, but please do that before Mania to get that. I agree. The writing let them down.
Mm-hmm.
The storyline let them down. The match over delivered, and now WWE next year is going to have to think twice about what they do because everybody's going to remember what happened this year. And like I said, hot take
Yeah.
or not, like people might disagree with me that because Sammy and Kevin versus the Usos is a fantastic match to main event with, and it's a
Right.
great moment to go out on.
Right.
But you had a chance to do what you did a couple of years ago with Sasha and Bianca. That moment that everybody was talking about.
Yeah.
You had that shot, and you chose not to do it. Let's see where the dominoes fall. At least it wasn't Omos and Brock Lesnar that main event. Like, at least the match that main evented was good.
Mm-hmm.
But
True.
this was match of the night.
Yes.
This match kicked all the ass.
Yep. Well,
Oh yeah. Oh, they all their asses got kicked in this match. Lady Ref almost got knocked
Yeah.
out halfway through this match. I
Yeah.
mean, Rhea came this close to running over the Lady Ref when she wasn't supposed to.
right.
And I only call her
Right.
Lady Ref because that's her tag on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's not. I know her name is Jess, but when you call yourself Lady Ref Jess on Twitter, you get called Lady Ref when I do the commentary.
Yeah.
Chris is saying that history forced Bianca and Sasha to main event, just like it did when tag team titles this year. Yeah, no, I totally understandable, and I totally get that. Do you guys believe in Theory now?
I believe in him a lot more after this promo. I loved this 5 words, 6 words, done. I loved this promo.
Right? I thought that it was perfect. I thought that it was a really nice transition between things. I thought that we were going to be getting like a 4-minute Austin Theory interview. Instead, all we got was, "Do you believe in Theory now?" And he walked away.
No, I only believe in Joe Hendry.
I was just going to type that in one of the chats. Damn it, Astrid. I mean, I believe in Joe Hendry.
That's the only person.
Theory exists.
Bobby believes in Theory. Our non-sponsored Dr. Pepper believes in Austin Theory as well.
Hashtag Dr. Pepper sponsor Carl.
80,497 people. The Miz announces the attendance for the night with Snoop Dogg in the ring, and then talks about... We're talking about Mike the Ref right now first with cheers for the raid. Thank you so much, Mike the Ref. You are an amazing guy. Absolutely love you. You are gorgeous. You are amazing at what you do, and you've always been here to support us, and I thank you so much for that.
Go check out Backbreaker Media. They do fantastic work on the gaming side.
Mm-hmm.
They do fantastic work on the wrestling side. They do all kinds of great things. They house shows for our friends like Making an Impact. They house shows for our friends like Andre and Melball. They do all... No, Mike, no lies, all truth.
Come on.
Come on, Mike. It's all good. I don't lie. There is no lying. No lying at all. There's no lying in wrestling.
Thank you, Mike. I appreciate that. I'll take it.
The Miz is going out and talking about an open challenge that he has put out on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, MySpace.
I love the MySpace reference. I did. I thought it was great.
Yep. I popped. I did. I definitely did. Gaming with Flash, thank you so much for coming in. So Gaming with Flash X, thank you so much for coming in. Very good to see you here. We have a lot of different programming that we do here on our local establishment. Check it out, and we would love to see you become part of the network here with us. So the Miz talking about this open challenge, and here I'm thinking Snoop Dogg is going to accept that.
Yeah.
You know, a schoolboy, a little roll up, a pin, and Snoop Dogg walks off with his golden championship. Instead, where we thought that we were going to be getting the main event, we got the greatest matchup in the history of WrestleMania. I need one of those WrestleMania tank tops that Pat McAfee wore as he came down to the ring, challenged The Miz. Okay, what was this? I love Pat McAfee, don't get me wrong, I really do. What was this, and why did we even need this?
Okay, so Corey Graves dropped a really small bit of kernel truth here. And I'm going to go back to last year because this is something I moderate for Tom Collihue. Last year around the Rumble, Tom Collihue reported that Corey Graves has been semi-cleared.
Yes. He's
not fully cleared, but they've given him the go to think about matches to potentially have. Yeah, I'm not gonna. Oh, this is the match. I thought he was talking about the conversation he was having with Parrish, and I was a little concerned.
No, Mike's saying that this was his opportunity to calm down and go to the bathroom. Gaming with Flash X says intermission match. Yeah, definitely.
But so Corey Graves had gotten the approval to look for potential opponents. Right. Corey Graves put forward that he wanted to work Pat McAfee at WrestleMania last year.
Okay.
He says that on commentary tonight in the middle of his tirade about Pat McAfee coming back out. He literally blurts out, "I put forth this match last year and they told me no."
Yes.
God, I want to see Pat McAfee versus Corey Graves. Because, don't get me wrong, I didn't need Pat McAfee versus The Miz. I didn't.
No.
Was it great? No. Was it entertaining? Yes. Yeah. I have a ball with these Pat McAfee matches.
Right.
Because, again, like we talked about with Bad Bunny, like we talked about with Logan Paul, Pat McAfee takes this shit seriously.
Right.
When he comes in to work a match, he's ready, he's in shape, and he's ready to do the work to make the match look good. Even a throwaway bullshit match where we're going to have George Kittle running around like the maniacal loser that he is because he's a 49er and they can't do nothing. Sorry, I'm a Patriots fan. I don't like the 49ers. But you know what? Everything's better with a little bit of Pat McAfee. Especially with Corey Graves on the commentary. Did y'all notice that Corey Graves leaned back as far as he could in his chair and put his feet up on the desk during this match?
I did not.
There's a moment where they shoot back to Cole, and Cole is chanting and raving and hands up in the air. In the corner of the screen, Corey Graves' feet are both crossed and on the desk, and he's leaned back in his chair. He could care less about Pat McAfee, and he is just going ballistic on commentary. This isn't a bad thing, because it's a filler segment to buy them some time to get ready for the main event so they can push the show to where they want it to be.
Okay. No, I will definitely
We're not going to talk about Mac Jones.
Mac Jones.
Not going to talk about Mac Jones.
Can someone who is a Pats fan be impartial in reviewing a match involving a man with
Mike, that's a low blow, and that check has to be bigger now. Astrid, all my future appearances on Making an Impact are now twice as much.
Thank you, Mike. Come on, boss, you're supposed to help me.
Little insight into April 2024. We find out that WrestleMania is going to be in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Cool. Awesome. I'm glad that they did this quick little vignette for it. And that was it. Left it at that. I'm sure they're going to be talking about it tomorrow as well, which is going to be fantastic. Awesome. I get it. We already know where it's going to be. People can save their $13,000 that it's going to cost them if they want a front row seat for, WrestleMania. Inflation, maybe it's going to be about $20,000. If you're Canadian, it's going to be about $37,000. I get it. Okay, perfect. We get to our main event of the night. We have the Usos taking on Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. First, what fell totally flat for me, I have to ask, Little Uzi who?
Yeah, I was going to ask, what's an Uzi vert?
Cat ears and losing his pants, looking like he just took a giant dump in his underwear and he's losing everything that's there. Is this what's considered fashion nowadays? What?
Astrid, as the resident young person on the panel, we go to you to tell us what the hell this is.
All I can say is I heard the song on TikTok because of my siblings, my younger siblings, that was specified. So That's all I can tell you from that aspect of it. So they decided to include somebody that's basically a TikToker at this point too. So
Mike, yes. Yes, Mike. It was his hair. Totally
Mhm.
looked like cat ears to me. Um,
I'm
Gaming with Flash. Yeah, I, I I did the same. Ed, what you got?
This made me miss Kid Rock. Remember how bad Kid Rock
Wow.
was? No, you know what? Fine. I'll go even worse. This made me miss Hardy.
I was gonna say the guy that performed the Rumble.
Remember Hardy from the Rumble and how bad he was? Little Uzi Vert made me miss Hardy.
Oh, that's ooh.
I got up and walked away in the old and I missed because I muted it because I didn't want to hear him anymore.
Right.
So I muted it and I walked away to get something to eat and I missed the Usos coming to the ring.
I had no clue what he was even doing there. Like I had no idea. My television service had kind of lagged a little bit. So I like had to switch to a different station for it, and yeah, so I kind of missed. So I don't even know if like they had actually introduced this as the person that's introducing or playing for the Usos or what was going on there. All of a sudden, I see this guy with his pants half off. Um, Walking up towards the Usos, and I'm like, what? What is this? Yeah, gaming. I mean, as well says it didn't even make sense. I mean, to me, it made absolutely no sense either. What did make total sense to me, though, Usos. Their pop was decent. Parrish is asking who is Uzi and why, and I've seen Hardy live.
Well, I'm
I have
sorry you had to
not
watch
seen
Hardy
Hardy
live.
live, and I'm sorry that you had to see Hardy
Yeah,
live.
me too. I was gonna
Mm.
say.
Barry Monkey says, as young people know who KSI and Uzi are, you old gits.
I mean, I'll wholeheartedly admit I don't know who 90% of the young and hip people are, and I'll date myself by using the words young and hip to describe what's popular nowadays. Like, I get it, I'm old, but like, you would think my wrestling program would at least put people that are semi familiar. Like,
Right?
you know what? I didn't. I'll be honest. I didn't know who Bad Bunny was until a couple of years ago. And
I was
again,
gonna say that
I've
one.
I've still never listened to his music. I don't know if he's any good. Apparently, he is because millions of people stream him every year. But
Right.
like, if we're gonna get Uzi Vert, does that mean we get downstate tomorrow for Cody? Because I'd pay all the money that we paid to Uzi Vert and then like much more to get downstate live to perform Kingdom.
Yes. Yes, please.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, please. Oh, Mike, yes, you are correct. Those young folks that are there are to bring in young money into professional wrestling. And I totally understand. I get that. Those whippersnappers just need to do whatever they got to do. Yes, I just dated myself. Gaming says I joked with people that I was watching with. How did this clear a majority vote? They sat around and said, Uzi Vert? Yes, let's do that. In the infamous words of Vince McMahon, it's such good shit.
Yeah.
Gotta be. Parrish knew who KSI was, didn't know, who Uzi is. Totally get it. Parrish also saying that my Twitter followers downstate told me something after I DM them. Oh, I guess we will have to wait and see. Tony Khan paid for downstate. Vince will never copy an AEW idea. There, I just rolled the eyes for you. I hope that it caught on camera. If not, let me do it again. There we go. Usos, their pop coming out for this main event matchup was decent. It was a decent pop. KO's pop, Kevin Owens, that was, that was kind of huge. Sami Zayn, good lord. That was epic and deafening. And I wasn't even in the crowd.
Yeah.
Wow.
There's a moment where they're going down the ramp that Sammy grabs KO's shoulder and he does this and this. And I just love it
Right.
because Sammy's marking out to his own pop. Like, this is
Mm-hmm.
for me. Like, can you hear this?
Right. Right. I absolutely loved it. So now I was hearing a little bit of stuff on the television as I'm taking notes and trying to, collect myself with everything. Did I hear them correctly? Yes, gaming with Flash
Yeah, Game
X.
with
Yes,
Flash.
you could feel his pop through the
Mm-hmm.
TV. You definitely could. Did they say that the Usos held that for over 1,000 days
Combined. So
combined?
all of
Okay.
their tag reign, they're at 600 plus now for their current reign.
Okay.
And their collective. So basically, they were comparing the fact that KO and Sammy have never held tag team championships in WWE to
Right.
the combined reigns of all the Usos championships being 1,000 days or more.
Okay.
It's like they were when they were talking about when NXT had the New Day down there, and they were talking about how Kofi Kingston has more combined days as a tag team champion than anybody else in WWE history.
You know what, Parrish? I think that yes, I think that that's exactly why these pops that Kevin Owens and especially Sami Zayn were getting. I think that that's the reason why that they probably put this as the main event. Gaming says, I know what that big pop feels like live. He was at a Raw where Ziggler cashed in on Del Rio.
That's
So
the
yeah,
Mania
you
after.
understand you understand that feeling
Mm-hmm.
100%. Barry Monkey says I looked at the ramp and thought, where are all these idiot wrestlers with skateboards when you need them?
Darby Allin.
Right? They're coffin dropping. That's what they're doing.
He's playing with Sting, a 50-year-old man over at AEW.
Right.
Either that or he's Cora Jade, so she's dating Braun Breaker. One of the two. Sorry, Carl.
Collar and elbow tie-ups in this matchup popped hard. As somebody who was in the professional wrestling business, who's been inside of that ring, who has worked many different competitors and many different people over the 11 years that I was in there, those collar and elbow tie-ups spoke to me tonight. I don't know why. I don't get it, but they simply were strong and looked fantastic. The matchup starts out really great. The middle of the matchup starts to slow down a little bit, and by the end, we're coming back up to a glorious finish. No, that is not an omen towards anything that happened at the end of this matchup, but I will use the word glorious finish.
Mike's right here,
Mike's
by the way.
Mike saying that I appreciate how the quality of the women's and tag matches were such high quality that we could even have an argument as to what should be main. I agree, and gaming as well says definitely. Every move mattered in this matchup, says Chris Parrish. It did, and you know what? Like I've written down. You saw my notes really quick, like specific matchups, specific things that were happening. I don't want to go any further with this until I hear from the two of you. Ed, I want to start with you. Please tell me about this matchup and what you loved.
I love that in the beginning of this match, we get the explanation of Reseda, California. We have Corey Graves talking about PWG and how
Mm-hmm.
Sammy and Kevin went to this local place and found each other and developed a friendship that lasts a lifetime.
Right.
They say on commentary that they're wearing the PWG logo on their tights, both of them, Kevin and Sammy. I make the joke in the Slack chat, but as this match goes on, it feels more and more like a match we would have seen in Reseda, a place the Usos have never been to, a
Right.
building they don't even, I don't even know if they know that it exists.
Mm-hmm.
But The Usos versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn could have been in that little bingo hall in Reseda. And by the way, I don't mean that disrespectfully. If you've ever seen the inside of that building, it is legitimately what used to be an old bingo hall.
Yeah.
And it is a beautiful place for wrestling. And they put on what was a top quality PWG match in the main event of WrestleMania. And by that I mean super kick, super kick, super kick, high spot, super kick, super kick, super kick, finisher, kick out, super kick, finisher, kick out. It's not the match that I desperately need to see and want to see all the time, but it worked here. These four guys made it work.
Right.
I don't want this to be the norm, but in this space, it worked. No, we're not doing that, Parrish. Bobby, don't put that. No, Bobby.
That's
bad, Bobby.
That's all I kept thinking during this matchup when the
Mhm.
Usos were doing that. And it's terrible for me to say, but that's all I kept thinking about is, did they just finish training with the Young Bucks?
Yep. But this match, it felt like an indie show. It felt like a PWG match.
Yes.
But in the
And
best of
okay,
ways.
Ed, you keep using PWG. I want you to tell the people that might not know what that is.
Pro Wrestling Guerrilla.
Thank you.
It is the premier California independent promotion. Quiet, Bobby. It was a building that mostly happened only in Reseda. I know they went elsewhere, but the only times I ever remember hearing about it is when they do Reseda. Their biggest tournament is Bola, which is I forget what Bola stands for, but it's a tournament where a bunch of guys wrestle, and it ends up with the finals being like a fatal 4-way match, and that ends up as in a Battle of Los Angeles. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
I knew it stood for something, but for the life of me at the moment I couldn't remember what it was.
I mean, I do hope it stands for something.
But it's a wonderful thing that it's a wonderful showing of what independent wrestling can be and could be. Yeah. Mike knows all about pro wrestling.
Mike's dropping the knowledge tonight.
The best thing about Pro Wrestling Guerrilla is you can't find coverage of their stuff anywhere. Almost all of it is exclusively DVD'd. And the commentator is, for those who enjoy their AEW, Excalibur helps run and is the lead commentary on all of the PWG stuff. Oh God, tomorrow night's going to be a hell with the two of them.
Yep, I was about to say the same thing.
But this match was beautiful because it gave me that indie feel.
Right.
But then you're looking and you're like, holy cow, there's 80,000 people in this building. Holy cow, this is the main event of WrestleMania. And they got the leeway to do the match that they wanted. It felt like Triple H just said, look, no producer, no nothing. Here's the finish. Here's the time. Have fun.
Right. Right. And they definitely took it to the time. Definitely they did. And the 80,000 in attendance, even talking about us here chanting for our local establishment with the Olay chants going on. I was super happy to hear that. And thank you to the 80,000 that were streaming for us here with the Olay Podcast Network. Before I get to you, Astrid, I just want to go through a couple of these quick comments here. Gaming FX says, or Gaming Flash X, I can't spoke tonight. It was a great work for the storyline. Yes, it was. Thanks, Parrish. I love this hoodie. This has been a great hoodie so far. Barry Monkey says, my only complaint with the main event is one of the commentators saying it's an emotion of roller coasters. I spent the next 5 minutes ranting on Twitter. It's an emotional roller coaster on a roller coaster of emotions, you daft sod. Yes. Barry Monkey, Mike the ref is telling you it was multiple roller coasters in that match, so it makes sense.
At least it wasn't at WrestleMania 33 where they had actual roller coasters on the set.
Right, right. Astrid, we're at the main event of WrestleMania Night 1. Break it down for me here, this matchup. What did it
34.
do for you? Or was there something that it didn't do for you?
It's just like I said earlier, I already feel like Rhea and Charlotte were the main event, so it's like it just didn't feel like the main event to me. It was a great match, so don't get me wrong. Um, I enjoyed it. I love those little parts of like Sammy with Jay, like throughout the match of like the haluva kick and even him like kind of pulling him up to like the next move that he had to do with him. I didn't notice this, but my brother texted it to me, and I want to go back and see if I can hear it. But when KO's in the corner, he tells the Usos, "Have your brother, both of the brothers, super kick me," and that's when they both do it in the corner to him, and that's what made me think of what you said earlier. Of like after the microphone was higher when Charlotte and
Yes.
Rhea started, so it kept going from there. But I love seeing that feel good moment between both guys that have been in the industry. Like it feels like they grew up together in the industry as it was. So it's nice to see that moment kind of give that exclamation point to the storyline. And I said it earlier during my prediction. This is like the downfall of the bloodline, and this is the start of it. And it's nice to
Right.
see people like KO and Sammy who have been working so hard in this storyline for quite a while now to get that moment. And like this is our feel good moment, two best friends. And like I said, I think it's the first time the tag team match main events WrestleMania, which is something that I never thought
Yeah.
it never happened before. So that's interesting as well. Yeah, I enjoyed the match. I'm waiting to see what happens tomorrow night when we do have the factor of like probably KO and Sammy and the Usos and Solo involved as well, because we didn't see him tonight. So I want to see how that all unveils tomorrow and unfolds as the main event happens. But yeah, it was a pretty fun match, and it just made me think a lot of the Young Bucks too, and I enjoy the Young Bucks. So that's what it was for me.
This matchup was a good way to uh, give that transitional period for us to go to sleep till tomorrow's show. Really great things happen throughout this match. The Usos splash, go for a pin, Ole chants happening, Sammy kicking out from a 1D, Jay using the haluva kick to try to get the win. Sammy does a comeback, an exploder suplex looked absolutely great, and then we've got Sammy with a haluva kick, KO hitting a stunner, still no win yet. Yes, super kick, super kick, super kick, super kick galore. Stereo splash happening with a kick out from Kevin Owens. 3 haluva kicks later from Sami Zayn gets the win for the pin. We have new WWE Universal Tag Team Champions to take us into this next generational era of the WWE. We're almost at 2 hours here, guys. We're going to wrap things up here as well. I want to go through tomorrow super quick just so that everybody knows what to expect. Tomorrow, we are going to have matchups including Liv Morgan and Raquel Gonzalez, or Rodriguez, sorry, not Gonzalez. I keep calling her Raquel Gonzalez for some reason. I
I
don't
do
know
too.
why. Taking on Natalia and Shotzi, taking on Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler, taking on Sonya Deville and Chelsea Green in just kind of like what they're billing a WrestleMania attraction match type of situation, or a showcase match. Showcase match is what they're calling it. Brock Lesnar is taking on Omos. I almost care about that, and probably not. A Hell in a Cell match featuring Edge and the Demon Finn Balor, as Edge brings the devil, apparently, he says. Gunther versus Drew McIntyre versus Sheamus for the Intercontinental Championship. Bianca Belair taking on Asuka, or as I have been calling her, Oscana lately. Those who know, know. And then the main event of Roman Reigns taking on Cody Rhodes for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship, where the culmination of what happened on tonight's show we could see float over to tomorrow night's show as well. I want to give an opportunity right now to all of you that are here, Astrid and Ed. I want you both to plug your stuff for me. Astrid, definitely I'm going to allow you to go first. Always ladies first. Please let us know what you've got going on where people can see you.
Well, I'm up for the rest of the weekend at least. Yay me! No, I'll be back on Tuesday with Ed doing taking over, talking about that fallout from Stand and Deliver. Thursday I do my show Making an Impact with my good friend Cody as well, talking about Impact Wrestling. Pretty soon we're gonna be discussing about Jody Threat having her debut there, so that's gonna be pretty exciting. Other than that, you can find me mostly on my Twitter at Astrid Pizarro or my Instagram Astrid Pizarro 20. I do have the things that I've done the last couple of days in there from Lady Session Showcase, which is on my YouTube. If you have Fightful Select, I was on Robin Maggie's show, coexisting Robin Maggie. So you can check me out there as well. And this morning I was on Jose's channel doing predictions for WrestleMania. So if you haven't checked it out, that's on there too. But I'm
Astrid
done
is
now.
absolutely everywhere, people. Wow.
I'm
How
done
did
now.
we get so lucky to have you as part of our local establishment when you're doing all this other great, wonderful stuff? I don't get, it boggles my mind. Ed, where can we see you? What have we got from you? And if you want, where can people follow you?
Mine's a little bit easier. You can follow me on Twitter at edfries12584. You can find me on Twitch at edfries2002. We will be starting up Wrestle Drafts soon as WrestleMania season is coming to an end. Where you see me and my good friend Chris Parrish going through GM mode on 2K23. So it's going to be very, very fun. As far as where you can find me tomorrow, you can find me on the pre-recorded prediction show that Parrish and I did for Night 2 of WrestleMania, which will be airing about 5 p.m., just during the start of the pre-show or just before the pre-show. Mm-hmm. So you can go ahead and get that in before you go ahead and watch that 2-hour-long pre-show. You can also find me with the Brunch Busters, Bobby Munson and Chris Parrish, for Night 2 reactions as we talk about mostly all about Brock Lesnar versus Omos. I mean, honestly, there's really nothing else on that entire card worth talking about tomorrow night. So it's mostly going to be about an hour and a half of us talking about the greatness of Brock Lesnar versus Omos, and maybe about 5 minutes on this Cody Rhodes guy. He might be something. We'll have to find out.
Awesome.
Yeah. Otherwise, like Astrid said over there, you can find me on Taking Over. We'll be on Tuesday night. We'll be having a Mellobration as we talk about the reign of Carmelo Hayes as he is now the NXT champion. And we'll be figuring out who Astrid's mystery co-host is going to be on May 28th, as I will be attending the next NXT PLE Battlegrounds. So we shall see.
Barry Monkey, thank you so much. Saying night, everyone, or morning now. Felicia as well. Wishing all of us a great night. Thank you so much. And thank you to everybody who came by to show some support for us here. Easiest way that you can find me and everything that I do is to check out my Linktree, linktr.ee/Karl Karufel. That's KarlKarufel. I do a couple of different shows. I have got Mondays where I do the Raw Watch Along, as well as Tuesdays where I do Turnbuckle Talk, which has been going on since 2015. I have a merchandise store as well, as you can see in the ticker down below, karlkarufel.redbubble.com, where you can find all different merchandise from Turnbuckle Studios, including Turnbuckle Talk, Beats and Beatdowns, The Boar's Nest with Bubba Duke, and even Paramindful merchandise there as well. For myself, Karl Karufel, Astrid Pizarro, and OLED, thank you all so much for joining us. Until tomorrow, happy WrestleMania weekend.